It's a massacre that the Ethiopian government is calling a crime against humanity. According to an Amnesty International report, an estimated 600 civilians were stabbed, strangled, and bludgeoned to death on November 9th in the Tigrayan town of Maikadra. The rights organization says the culprits are obvious.
There was a battle, not in the town, but outside of the town, and the security forces loyal to the Tigray regional government, they lost the battle, so they retreated to the town, and that was immediately followed by this massacre.
Since then, the country's state-appointed Human Rights Commission was able to travel to Maikadra, where it witnessed firsthand dead bodies rotting in the sun and dozens of mass graves. It appears the victims were pre-identified by ethnicity.
After more than 800 days in an Iranian prison, Australian academic Kylie Moore-Gilbert is on her way home. Her surprise release came overnight, with state media claiming she was exchanged for 3 Iranians, 2 of them known terrorists.
Looking unsure, uneasy and, when unmasked, offering proof that a prisoner has finally been unshackled.
Thrilled and relieved, prayers answered and amazing work done by our consular teams and officials.
Australian academic Kylie Moore-Gilbert spent 800 days in an Iranian prison, serving a 10-year sentence for the false charge of spying. Iranian state media followed every step of her release, which began outside her prison. I came to Iran 2 years and 3 months ago. Driven to an airport, she waits as 3 men arrive. Iranian media says Dr. Moore-Gilbert is being exchanged for 3 Iranians who'd been jailed overseas.
The Road Freight Association calling for President Ramaphosa's urgent intervention to prevent more attacks on trucks in the country. The association's chief executive, Gavin Kelly, saying the attacks are threatening South Africa's economic recovery post-COVID-19.
It certainly is a big participant in the economy, does contribute billions and billions of rands to the fiscals, and I do think that it's one of those sectors that have got even more potential to contribute more if if the economy starts moving in the right direction, if the economy starts picking up pace, and if the rest of the continent does pick up pace, the sector has a potential to be a very significant contributor to the economy. And I think it's quite unfortunate what is going on at the moment.
Well, 251 people died that night, more than half of them here in Ankara. And this is the trial of the airbase that was home to the planes that bombed the city. And it is documented that one pilot, when given the coordinates to fire his rockets at a target, told his control tower, but this is the city center. Back came the order, go ahead. So today, those 8 pilots got multiple life sentences. Now, politically, the government sees the coup as the work of Fethullah Gulen, the Islamist preacher who is in exile in Pennsylvania. And the purpose of this trial and the others is basically to hammer the Gulenists into the ground.
Well, good afternoon. Well, as you said, Israel is demanding Iran to pull out all its proxies, all its foreign legion from Syria, which is the likelihood of which is almost impossible. Because Iran has been invited officially by Syria to intervene in the Syrian conflict. So, this is quite obvious that the Security Council cannot make any decision on this issue, and certainly it's only just for political purposes, no more than that. More than 36 airstrikes have been attributed to Israel on Syrian territory this year, which is not a small amount of attacks. And mainly the attacks were aimed at first, stopping the flow of weapons of precise guided missiles to Lebanon, to Hezbollah, and secondly to stop the consolidation of Iranian positions facing the Golan.
The leader of an online sexual blackmail ring has been sentenced to 40 years in prison by a South Korean court, according to the Yonhap news agency. 24-year-old Cho Ju-bin was found guilty of running an online network that blackmailed at least 74 women, including 16 teenagers, into what authorities called virtual enslavement. Over a 10-month period, the women were forced to send increasingly degrading and sometimes violent sexual imagery of themselves. The case has sparked a national outcry over the prevalence of digital sex crimes in the country. Cho lured and threatened multiple victims in various ways to produce pornography, and that the Seoul Central District Court sentenced him for violating criminal and child protection laws.
Violence erupted in Mexico City on Wednesday when protesters took to the streets to mark the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Mexican women marched to the government palace and clashed with riot police. Protesters demand the authorities to do more to stop femicide in the country. This is one of the women who joined the demonstration.
They have done nothing. Every day women are killed. Every day they kill 11 women and 9 girls. How they want us to believe in Mexico's government. Their apologies do not interest me. I will believe in their public apologies the day they stop killing women, not today.
These women are chanting what has become an international feminist anthem. It's called A Rapist in Your Path. It was first performed a year ago here in Chile. The chorus says, "It wasn't my fault, or because of what I wore or where I was. The rapist is you." All day long, there were performances and demonstrations to mark International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Tens of thousands of Chilean women have been victims of gender violence and harassment, more often than not carried out with total impunity. These kerchiefs represent victims of femicide.
Un hallazgo, bueno, de la producción de voces. Hicimos todo un relevamiento de esa autoentrevista.
Sí,
¿no?
Exactamente. Todo, ¿no? Diego Maradona fue depósito de muchos sentimientos que hemos tenido a lo largo de la vida de Diego Maradona.
Con sus instrumentos, con sus trompetas, con sus bombos, con fuegos artificiales que ahora ya...
Cyclone Nivar has made landfall along India's southern coast. Nivar made landfall with wind speeds of up to 130 kilometers per hour. It has been downgraded from a very severe cyclonic storm to a severe cyclonic storm. Trees were uprooted due to strong winds along the Puducherry coast. Authorities suspended power supply in various cities of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. The cyclone is expected to move northwest and weaken into a cyclonic storm. However, according to the Indian Meteorological Department, danger is not entirely over yet.
A Swiss woman attacked another woman with a knife and grabbed another by the throat at a departmental store. This happened in the southern Swiss city of Lugano and is now being seen as a suspected terror attack. The attacker has been identified as a 28-year-old woman. She was pulled away by a couple at the scene before being arrested. The Swiss police is saying that the suspect was apparently known to the authorities from an investigation into quote-unquote jihadist terrorism in 2017. According to them, the woman wanted to travel to Syria that very same year but was stopped at the Turkish-Syrian border. Norman Gobi, the leader of the Sino canton, where Lugano is situated, has said that his government is determined to defend the safety of its citizens. He said, and I'm quoting, "Switzerland is a country of peace, but being peaceful does not mean being helpless."